good. I think we good. Yeah. 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 Y'all already know what's good, y'all. What's good, y'all. What's good, y'all. What's great. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Can the Brothers Get It Rap podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Lovechild. I'm flying this plane solo tonight, but a quick shout out to my co-host Santana and my guest co-host, my bro, one of my good friends, Jokey from Jokey Entertainment. So shout out to them. I want to thank all of y'all for tapping in tonight. Y'all already here in the building. We're gonna have a great show tonight. So I'm navigating a lot of things dolo, so y'all might have to bear with me just a little bit. But I hope y'all enjoying yourself on this Sunday for episode 168. I can't believe it's the 168th episode, which is crazy to me because when we first started, it was just like, yo, we should do this. And we did it. And, now that we here. So, again, I want to thank y'all for tapping in tonight, man. Quick shout, I want to thank some of our day ones already in the building, some of our badge holders already in the building. Shout out to Winter in the building. Appreciate you tapping in as always. Shout out to Treatment in the building. You're in the building, man. One of our day ones. Shout out to Culture in the building. Thank you again for tapping in. I don't know why it is when I go live, people love to text me when I'm going live, but I'm busy, so they better get it together or leave it alone. Sorry about that, y'all. Yeah. I'm on live. So, all right, y'all. Again, thank y'all for tapping in episode 168. For some reason, I thought the NBA Finals was going to be on tonight. I must have had my signals crossed, my signals mixed up. So Game 5 come on tomorrow. I'm looking forward to seeing that game for those who are NBA fans. Again, I'm Ashley Lovechild. If this is your first time tapping in, appreciate you tapping in for episode 167. We got a grand slam show tonight. Again, I want to thank the presenting sponsor of this podcast, which is Button Snap. You get the finest of movies, shows, and documentaries and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. Button, the hyphenated sign, snaps.com. That's Button, hyphenated sign, snaps.com. Make sure y'all tap in and check out the finest movie quality. Also, we're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We're a little over 11,000 subscribers. So continue to like, subscribe, and share. And share. Don't be afraid to share. Leave comments, great comments. We got over 450 rewatch videos of this podcast on this channel. So make sure y'all continue to, like I said, engage and share, like, subscribe, hit that all notification bell. I pop up all the time, so you just never know when I'm going to pop up. We also got membership portions of this podcast on this page, so you check it out. We got different memberships, grant you different access, so make sure you tap in and taking advantage. There's real cool features that we have for people that really support the show. Also, I feel like I'm forgetting something else. Yeah, so again, continue to support. Also, merchandise. That was the merchandise. Continue to buy the merchandise. We got several merchandise items left, so make sure y'all continue to buy them. We also have some new merchandise on the way, so make sure y'all tap into that as well. Appreciate y'all as always. Shout out to King P in the building, one of our day ones, one of our badge holders. Remember, y'all, don't forget to hit them likes, hit them likes, hit them likes, hit them 100s, hit them 100s, hit them 100s in the chat. We appreciate you a million as always. Let's see what else we got going on here. All right, y'all. Moving on to our shout out to Dot in the building, man. Appreciate you tapping in. He says good morning. So wherever you're at in the world, it must be the morning. So we appreciate you tapping in. Sound like you're probably on the other side. Hope we keep you entertained and informed. Dude, I appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes, hit them 100s, hit them likes, hit them 100s. Shout out to Ebony in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. One of our other day ones tapping in. Appreciate you as always. All right, y'all, moving on. Let's get it cracking. Let's get it started. Y'all already know how we doing. First segment of the night, popular opinions, y'all. Popular opinions. Y'all already know this segment is brought to you by OUV Records. You see it right there. Where the label model is create, document, and inspire. Make sure you go to Instagram at OUV Records. Stay in tune to the latest music and merchandise. All right, y'all. First hot topics. First segment of the night, popular opinions. Again, y'all, these are not our questions. These are the world's questions. Stick to the answers in the questions. Let's have some fun, y'all. All right, y'all. Best movie on this list. Best movie on this list. Number one, Bloodsport. Number two, Double Impact. Number three, Time Cop. Number four, Hard Target. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Again, best movie on this list. Number one, Bloodsport. Number two, Double Impact. Number three, Time Cop. Number four, Hard Target. Target. Yes, these are all Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. For those who remember Jean-Claude Van Damme, his movies was always popping and good and fun to watch. He was also in the Expendables, like 4 or something like that. When they put all the jam-packed, jam-packed fighting dudes in one movie. So it was always a good time with the Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. In the chat, well, for me, I'm a Bloodsport, fire movie, classic movie. You know, they cover the Kumite, Frank. I don't know if it's no Frank Castle is the Punisher, but Frank, I can't think of his last name right now, but Frank went to the Kumite from America, you know, was trained, went out there, it was killing it. Classic movie, him and Bolo, classic fight at the end. Uh, Double Impact, where Jean-Claude Van Damme plays both characters. He plays him and his twin brother. You know, they were separated at birth. And again, fire movie. Time Cop, when you go back in time, whether it's whether it's future, whether it's back in time to solve crimes before they happen. Fire movie. And Target is a fire movie where I believe he's on a run and they trying to catch him and he's the hard target, but fire movie. So me personally, I'm gonna say Bloodsport. I'm going with Bloodsport because anytime Bloodsport is on, you know, Bloodsport could come on BET. Bloodsport could come on any channel. It could come on FX. It could come on HBO. Bloodsport is still and always a good time. If you have it on Stream, Tubi, you know, BET, HBO Max, what you call 'em, Netflix, any of these platforms, you see Bloodsport on. You can even see it on Button Snap. It's always a good time. So I'm gonna go with Bloodsport. The chat, I'm seeing two. So I seen Double Impact, and I'm also seeing three. So y'all also said Time Cop as well. Again, so I went with Bloodsport. The chat is kind of mixed between the two. The rest of the world at 44% went with Time Cop. I'm not really surprised because Time Cop is a fire classic movie. So I'm not surprised on the Time Cop. Time Cop is an excellent movie. And over 4,000 people voted for this. So everybody, well, majority went with Time Cop. So I'm not mad at that. Not mad at that at all. All right, y'all, moving on to our next popular opinion question. And remember, y'all, stick to the answers on the list. Y'all always shouting out different answers or whatever. Stick to the answers on the list. These are not our questions. These are the world questions. So stick to the answers. All right, y'all, next popular opinion question. Create your perfect basketball player. Create your perfect basketball player on this list. All right. So number one will be a mix of Klay Thompson, Derrick Rose, Paul George. That's an athletic shooter. Wow. Sec two is T Mac, Allen Iverson, Kawhi Leonard. That's a beast right there. And number three is Dwight Howard, Penny Hardaway, and Carmelo Anthony. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Again, create your create your perfect basketball player on this list. Again, number one is a mix of Klay Thompson, Derrick Rose, and Paul George. That's a hell of a play right there. To have that shooting and athleticism to get any shot, be able to go to the rack whenever you want, left, right, step back. You getting all types of offense right there, and you getting a hell of a defender, right? Also, second is T Mac, Allen Iverson, Kawhi Leonard. If you take T Mac's height, Kawhi's strength, Allen Iverson quickness and speed, T Mac's shot making ability, Allen Iverson creativity, and Kawhi Leonard's efficiency, that's tough. That's tough. Number three again is Dwayne Wade, Penny Hardaway, and Carmelo Anthony. So you take Dwayne Wade's speed, Carmelo Anthony's size and shot making ability, and Penny's defense, vision, length, because Penny was 6'7", and his quiet leadership. So that's a tough group, and we're talking about prime, all in their prime. But if I'm picking out of all these, out of this mix right here, I think I'm gonna go with number two. Me personally, I'm going with number two. I'm going with number two. Um, I'm going with number two. The rest of the world at 45%. The chat just went with one. All right, so the rest of the world at 45% went with number one. Went with number one. And again, number one was Klay Thompson, a mix of Klay Thompson, Derrick Rose, and Paul George will be your perfect play. Again, if you take Paul George height, Derrick Rose athleticism, and Klay Thompson's shooting ability, that would be crazy. And then you take Derrick Rose speed and be able to get it off the cuff. I mean, and then Paul George is a shot creator. I mean, it would just be crazy. It would just be crazy. Shout out to F me LOL in the building. Appreciate you tapping in straight from Hungary, man. Shout out to Hungry, man. Appreciate you tapping in. He said happy Father's Day. Appreciate that, brother. I don't necessarily celebrate it because I don't celebrate no holiday. I don't believe in none of the man-made holidays. I just believe in birthdays. But for all the fathers that been doing their thing, continue to do their thing, like myself, I am a dad, but I feel like I don't need the day to show the importance of what I do. But appreciate you, my brother. For real, I really do. I appreciate that. And shout out to all those who celebrate the day. But that's just me personally. But again, back to the question: create your perfect basketball player. So 45% of y'all, and this is over 5,000 people voting. All it four out of 5,000 people, 45% went with Klay Thompson, Derrick Rose, Paul George as a mix of one player over T Mac, Allen Iverson, and Kawhi Leonard, and over Dwayne Wade, Penny Hardaway, and Carmelo Anthony. Again, hell of a mix. All these are great players. All these would be a great build and mix. But, I went with T Mac, Allen Iverson, Kawhi. The rest of the world, y'all went with Klay, Rose, and Paul George. All right, y'all. Let's move on to our next segment, y'all. Again, y'all, don't forget to tap into the membership portion of the page. Different memberships, different access, and they're very well worth it. So make sure y'all tap into that. Hit them likes, hit them 100s in the chat, and stay engaged. If this is your first time watching, I am Ashley Lovechild. So make sure y'all continue to support. I'm on every platform, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I'm on everything. So just type in Ashley Lovechild and I'll pop up. And yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? Also, quick shout out for everybody that's been supporting my new EP, Winners Loyalty, out on every music platform right now. Continue to support Winners Loyalty, 6-song EP, fire EP. So make sure y'all tap in and continue to tap in. For those who didn't hear about it, you heard it now. So make sure you tap into my new EP, Winners Loyalty, again on every music platform that you could go to, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you go to, SoundCloud, whatever, it's on it. So make sure you tap into the EP. All right, y'all, moving on to our must see segment. Y'all already know I get at these movies. Y'all love this segment. This is the most talked about segment of the show, is our must see movies, must hear music, and some must read book. Well, a must read book, I should say. So make sure y'all ready for these movies. 167 episodes of great, 168 episodes of great movies. So make sure y'all tap in. All right, y'all. My first movie that is a must see. You must see this movie. Came out in 2014, directed by Tim McCarthy. The stars Adam Sandler, Melanie Diaz, Steve Buscemi, Method Man, Ellie, and Adam B. Serpo. This movie is called The Cobbler. Fire movie. Fire movie about a young man running a business, actually being a cobbler, which is known as a shoe repairman, shoe fixer, shoemaker, and third generation. And for some reason, he got the sauce on making or repairing great shoes. But for some reason, anytime he goes back to using that old school technology, anytime he puts on other people's shoes, you have to watch the rest of the movie. I won't ruin it for y'all. I'm not going to give y'all no spoilers. So make sure y'all tap in to see The Cobbler. Second must-see movie came out in 2000, directed by Gregory Hobbit. This stars Dennis Quaid, Jim Caviezel, uh, Andre Broder, Elizabeth Michelle, Nod Emmerich, and Michael Sarah. This movie is called Frequency. Must see movie about a young man that grew up just wanting to be close to his dad. His dad was a firefighter. He grew up to be a cop, and this old school radio, very old school radio, had a way of the son and the father having the ability to watch the rest of the movie. I won't ruin it for y'all. I will not ruin these movies for y'all. Make sure y'all go tap in to these movies. Shout out to Trevor in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes, hit them 100s. Hit them likes, hit them 100s. We appreciate your support. If this is your first time watching Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast, we talk about everything here. So again, thank you for supporting the show. All right, y'all. Third and final must-see movie came out in 2002, directed by David S. Gayer. This movie stars Wesley Snipes, John Leguizamo, Latasha Linney, Oliver Platt, Sam Jones III, and Luke Gross. This movie is called Zigzag. Fire must-see movie about a young kid who is a bit mentally ill, but he's great with numbers. He's working at a restaurant, and because he's able because he's great with numbers, he mimics and watches the people in the restaurant, and you have to watch the rest of the movie. I won't ruin it for y'all. So make sure y'all tap it to see Zigzag. So my three must-see movies, y'all. Number one was The Cobbler. Number two, Frequency. Number three, Zigzag. So make sure y'all tap into those movies. Again, number one, The Cobbler. Number two, Frequency. And number three, Zigzag. So make sure y'all tap in to see those films. All three really great films, and they're very entertaining, to say the least. So, all right, y'all. Moving on to our must. I'm sorry. We're moving on to our must hear. Our must hear. Our must hear. Must get these songs on your playlist, y'all. Y'all know me. I deal on a deeper and different frequency, whether it's new music, old music. Make sure y'all tap into these songs. Put these on your playlist, whether it's R&B or hip hop. So make sure y'all tap in. So this episode Make sure y'all tap into Aaron Hall, some R&B classic, legendary R&B from Aaron Hall. Number one, again, put this on your playlist. Number one, Don't Be Afraid. Number two, Until the End of Time, the jazz up version. Okay, and three, I Miss You. So make sure y'all tap into those songs. Again, that's Aaron Hall. For those who've never heard of Aaron Hall, he's a legendary R&B singer. Make sure you put these three songs on your playlist. Again, Don't Be Afraid, Until the End of Time, the jazzed up version. Even the slow down version is fire too. And number three, I Miss You, classic song. If you never heard, everybody and their mother heard I Miss You. If you into R&B, you heard I Miss You before. So don't even play. So make sure y'all tap into Aaron Hall. Must put that on your playlist. All right, y'all. Moving on to our must read books. I hope y'all getting y'all book reading and stepping up to the plate on reading good books. I have a must read book that's going to be very beneficial for y'all. Okay. So my must read book for this episode is called Health and Wellness for Body, Mind, and Spirit. I don't know what it is lately, but I'm really tapped into that mindset of being healthy, being well, mind, body, and spirit. And I gave this great read, a read in itself. This book is by Ray Larson, so you could tap into this book. It's a great read on health, wellness, and it's for the body, mind, and spirit. What I'm gonna do in the future, I'm gonna bring one of these authors that wrote one of these books and give their synopsis on what they intended for the book to be, because it's a difference between intention and what's the lesson from what we read. But this I feel like is self-explanatory. Again, a great book to improve your health, improve your wellness, whether it's mind, body, and spirit. And there's things that you can do right now. We all want to live. We want to have the best bodies. We want to have the best mindset, and we want to just be in great spirits, staying away from that, what's the word I'm looking for, that depressive nature. Because I think after COVID, I think we all hit some walls of depression. I didn't even realize it. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be very honest with y'all. I went through a depression in 2023. I didn't know I was going through a depression until I came out of it. And everything smelled bad, everything looked bad, everything didn't feel good, everything I just went through a funk time in 2023. And crazy thing is, I accomplished a lot of things in 2023. But for some reason, I always looked at the glass half empty instead of half full. I looked at all the things that I didn't accomplish and just made that the bane of my existence. I looked at everything that I didn't have that I wanted, the bane of my existence. Why I couldn't have what I wanted when I wanted. So 2023 was very interesting because I don't know if you guys do this at home. I'm not gonna lie, I do this. Sometimes I go through my phone, and the pictures that you take is like a portrait of that year. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes when I go through my past pictures and I see 2023 and all the things, or the pictures I took and stuff like that, and I look a little different. And you could kind of like, you ever look at a picture and it described how you felt at that moment, and you could kind of replay that month or that whole year based on that one picture. So when I look at the pictures from 2023 and the things that I went through and the things that I accomplished, things that I didn't accomplish, things that I exceeded in, and things I failed in, I looked at 2023 as just like, oh my God, throw that away. But it was a very pivotal year. I accomplished a lot of things that put me on the precipice of doing great things in 2024 and now in 2025. Shout out to Rashida in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Shout out to Tosh, Will. Appreciate y'all tapping in. Hit them likes, hit them 100s, hit them likes, hit them 100s. But yeah, so I think everyone since COVID has faced some form of depression, and this is a great book to just get your mind right, looking at things from a goal oriented standpoint, because at the end of the day we all just want to be happy, right? We all want to do fun things, we all want to accomplish great things. It will be way more fun if you could do it with people that matter to you, whether it's your friends or your family, right? And you want to do it in a great headspace as well too. You want to create memories that will last forever, memories that not only stick with you, that will stick with other people. Um, one of the things that helped me was not living yesterday, right? So I'm not the type of person at all, even though um, I've been successful at each part of my life, mainly because of my mindset, right? I don't lay in dysfunction and chaos, right? And there's been times in my life where it was, y'all, crazy work. It was bad. It was bad. Mindset was bad. I'm on terrible, vicious mode. But what I learned out of all of that is that my foundation was always, I never wanted to be the guy like, man, back in the day, man, you used to be fun. Yo, back in the day, you was the cool guy. I never Back in the day, man, we had the best time ever in our life, right? Nah. We had some good times, but times could always be better, right? So when people think of the past and they think of to the time where they didn't have to pay no bills, like a lot of my friends be like, yo, when we didn't have to pay no bills and we was living our parents, we was living the life. Not necessarily, dog. Those times was rough too. But I'd rather be in the present time, enjoying life and having the ability to affect my life, design my lifestyle. And for some reason, a lot of people don't feel like they have the power to design their life. If you look at it from step by step measures, you could accomplish anything. So again, make sure y'all tap into this book. It's a great book. Again, it's called Health and Wellness for Body, Mind, and Spirit. Again, by Ray Larson. Great read. Shout out to Grave in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Do you play Roblox? Nah, bro, I don't. Be honest with you, I don't, man. But appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes. Hit them likes. Hit them 100s. Just never know when I'm popping up. Again, I'm Ashley Lovechild, and my show, we build off of the support of y'all. So appreciate you tapping in. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment. Y'all already, well, this is the second time we're actually doing this segment. It's a brand new segment. It's a segment we should have did a long time ago because it was a story that I covered about in certain parts of the world, if people look a certain way, they could actually go to jail. So I covered a story where a young man was in another country, in Turkey to be in particular. He looked and acted homosexual. And because of that, the policing in that country, they arrested him and had him in prison for extended time for looking and acting homosexual. So because of that, we came up with the term "send him to Turkey" because that's what happens at, right? So this is a segment we should have did a long time ago, and this has been inside running joke of the supporters of the show. Anytime somebody did something crazy, we always say send them to Turkey. So we actually came up with the segment, send them to Turkey. All right, so first up, uh, so we all we agreeing is we sending this person to Turkey or not. Okay. All right, first person up, former jail employee, Darina Burton. She was arrested for helping the New Orleans prisoners escape. She was known to be one of the girlfriends of one of the prisoners as well. Send her to Turkey or not. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Uh, Send her to Turkey or not, or put T or put Turkey. Put it how y'all want to. Pause. Me personally, I'm gonna say, nah, don't send her to Turkey. Like, she looked out, like she was supposed to do what she was supposed to do. Like, if she's messing with one of the inmates, now she wasn't supposed to get caught. She wasn't smart enough not to get caught. But send her to Turkey, nah. Like, that's somebody you need on your team that's willing to risk it all. She was willing to risk it all, and I'm not mad at that. Now, some people might say, "Yo, bro, you letting hardened criminals, go back into the world." Um, yeah, yeah, but it's their job to catch them, right? It's their job to keep these prisoners in house, right? It ain't my job to do it. It's their job. You feel what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, she tried it. I can't be mad at her for trying it. I mean, that's the least she could do. You feel me? If she messing around with me, you can at least, crack the door open while I run out. You can at least do that. You know what I'm saying? You getting all this good jail loving every now and again. You feel me? It's going to take more than some fish sticks and tater tots to keep me up in here. You know what I'm saying? So that's the least you can do. So I'm going to say, nah, I ain't going to send her to Turkey. In the chat, they said, don't send her to Turkey. You feel me? Like, I just don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not with it. I wouldn't send her to Turkey. I'm not sending her to Turkey. I'm not doing it. You know what I'm saying? So, again, she looked out. Straight buddy pass. She wasn't supposed to get caught, but she got caught. So, in the chat, they saying, send her to Turkey. Don't send her to Turkey. So, I'm getting mixed too. So yeah, I'm going with the chat. I'm going with some of y'all. Don't send her to Turkey. That's somebody we need on the team. She ready to risk it all. Again, she wasn't supposed to get caught. But shout out to her though. You know what I'm saying? All right, y'all. Moving on to our next one. All right. This one is kind of hard to explain, but I'm going to do it anyway. Unwritten rules to fighting. Okay. Send the unwritten rules to Turkey or nah. Okay, so the unwritten rules to fighting. See, here's my thing, right? When people fight, right? When it's a one-on-one situation, it's one-on-one. There's no need for guns, knives, bats, pipes, bottles, brass knuckles. It's one-on-one. It's one-on-one. If it's one-on-one, it like you just need bare knuckles and get it shaky. I've seen little guys clean knocked out big guys. Clean. I've seen tall guys kick the temple of short guys' head. I've seen that too. But men is men. And sometimes we just need to work it out. I played football. I boxed all my life. I played basketball, but I played football since the age of 8, all the way to college. And I played some semi-pro, some junior pro before I really got into music. And I've seen all types of fights in the locker room, and you'll be surprised who got worked out, right? So I just think unwritten rules to fighting is just always clean. But for some reason, what I see nowadays, I've seen guys jump people and they got weapons. Like, how you jump somebody and you got a knife? How you jump somebody and you got a razor on top of that? How you jump somebody and you got a bat or a pipe? Like, how you do that? Then I see other guys shoot people. Like, yo, it's 3-on-1. What do you need the gun for? I'm completely lost. The gun, the only time, for real, y'all. Only time you're supposed to admit a gun into a situation, whereas if it's like 8-on-1. And the gun is not for shooting. The gun is like, hey, back your ass up. I will tap that ass if I have to. It's 8 of y'all. It's 8 of y'all. It's 8 of y'all. So either I'm going to make y'all dance or y'all going to back the hell up. So I get that, right? It's to kind of even the score a little bit, but it's for show, not for tell. You see what I'm saying? So what happened to the unwritten rules? So do we send the unwritten rules to Turkey? I mean, send the unwritten rules to fighting to Turkey or not? Let me know what y'all think in the chat, because I think that we can't send the unwritten rules to Turkey because we need that. But I'm seeing more and more in, just in social media, in the media in itself. You got like video evidence of guys going up to guys with guns. I'm like, what happened to the one-on-one? That's one thing I can respect about, I think his name is Aaron the plumber. And he's always looking for the fade. He always like, yo, they got a clip that's hilarious to me with Aaron the plumber where he's sitting in the barber chair and the barber's like, yo, you ready for this fade? He gets something like, oh, you want to run the fade, homie? Like, so I respect that because I grew up like that, in a sense where if we got a real beef, oh, we gonna get it popping. I made a lot of my friends growing up through fighting, but as we get older, that's not the end or be all. But I'd rather for people to get a real altercation, man to man, fisticuffs, than to go to the knife, go to the gun, go to the pipe, and just work it out. So at the end of the day, I'd rather for that than for somebody just to pull out a gun just because. You talking real crazy, but the first thing you do is pull out a gun. Like, so yeah, I just don't jack it. It's like we still need those unwritten rules. In the chat, they going with keep the unwritten rules. Don't send the unwritten rules to Turkey. We need the unwritten rules for the next generation. That is a fact. Kids is crazy. Some of these kids will shoot you until you get set on fire. That's a lot of bullets, y'all. That's a lot of bullets. They don't no longer have the 8-shot shooter. They got switches now. That's the new thing. The only thing that scares me with the younger generation is that they can't go into a situation thinking they're the only one with a gun. It's a backwards mentality. Just because you have one, yours is not the last one made. So why not just get it out the mud, put the guns down, pick up the gloves, and just have straight understanding we could both make it home. Because guess what? If you shoot, I shoot. And nobody wants to shoot for real. Let's just have our disagreement and go home. Let's get it. Let's get these hands. But you know what I'm saying? Let's put these guns down. It's just getting crazy out here. That's crazy. Who's making all these weapons? That is true. But here's the thing, right? It's only certain places that there's like guns as a culture. Like New York City, if you ever been to New York City, raised in New York City, guns is not a culture in New York City. The reason being is because if you get caught with a gun, in New York City, the next time you will see the light of day, new technology will be dropping. They don't play that in New York City. In other states, they allow gunplay. States like Georgia, states like Florida, states like Texas, they allow gunplay. And when I wasn't living in these areas, I used to believe that the reason why they allow gunplay is because they had wildlife. So if you got wildlife, moving and shaking, it's like, yo, I'm gonna carry me something. Like in Florida, before I moved to Florida, all I saw was alligators, like just taking over the whole road. I'm like, yeah, nah. Yeah, I got them AKs. Yeah, let me get the AK. If I run into the alligator, I'm gonna hit him with the AK, little shoddy. That makes sense to me, right? But places like New York City, California used to allow guns in public forums. They have really, weird laws of guns as well. I mean, any place where it's more like a metropolis, I don't think guns should be available. But I mean, they are, and the younger generation have access of it. Chicago is heavy with the gunplay. So I mean, and it's so crazy. They just changed their laws in Chicago on how they deal with violent offenders, first-time offenders. It's crazy. Pittsburgh, a city like Pittsburgh, changed their whole stuff as well. So It's crazy. So learn the laws of where you're at, people. Protect yourself and learn the laws where you're at. All right, moving on to our next one. Uh, Pro Bowler, NFL Pro Bowler, cornerback Jair Alexander released from Green Bay Packers. Send them to Turkey or not, or send the Packers to. I'll say send the Packers to Turkey or not. I'm gonna say send the Packers to Turkey because he's a Pro Bowl player. He's a great player. He makes a difference on their team. So I'm gonna say send him to Turkey. Me personally, uh, that's what I mean. They're making weapons, and these weapons get into the hands of individuals who had nothing to do and bring them with them. So yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that, Rashid. I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with that. That is very true. That's very true. All right, so I think I missed the comment too about the guns, but I think I missed the comment. So we all agreed to send the Green Bay Packers to Turkey because they released Jair Alexander. All right, last sent him to Turkey. Aiden Ross says that he would pay 200,000 for Cooking with Kaya, streamer Cooking with Kaya. He would pay 200,000 to get her a restaurant only if he gets 80% of the revenue shares. So do we send Aiden Ross to Turkey or nah? Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Send him to Turkey or nah. Me personally, I mean 80% is quite high. But when you're an investor, the whole point of investing is not to go 50-50. 70-30 sounds a bit more accurate if I'm putting up all the upfront money and the cost and everything. And mind you, making a new business, regardless how good the product is never a guarantee. It really depends on the hard work. It depends on the system that they use. It has just many different variables whether a business is going to work or not. 80% is crazy. I will say that. 80%, maybe he said 80% knowing that she's going to counteract with, 50%. And then they'll meet somewhere in the middle. See how that works? See what I'm saying? So I don't know if that's why he said that to say that. I've heard Cooking with Kaya is an amazing cook. She's beautiful, by the way. But I've heard she's an amazing cook. But 80% is crazy. 80% is crazy on 200,000. 200,000 is a lot of money. It's a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money in the sense of a restaurant. But I would more say this: it depends on what type of restaurant. I would more say on that. So do we send Aiden Ross to Turkey for presenting her with that? Because he said it on his live. He said on his stream that he actually would go in and buy Cooking with Kaya a restaurant or set up a restaurant for 200,000 as long as he get 80% of the revenue. So in the chat, it's looking like y'all want to send him to Turkey. I don't really understand all the business. I need more info, but 80% just sounds crazy to me. 250. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it depends. Like if we're talking about a pizza business, then 200,000, 250,000 is way more than enough, right? And the foods that she makes, for what I've seen on her streams and her live, it really depends. I mean, I'm not sure if she lives in Atlanta or LA or I think she's from LA if I'm not mistaken. So I mean, 250 sound like that spot gonna be in the dead of the hood. I mean, that's what I gather. So I don't know what the demographics she's it's just, but again, 80% is wild. So yeah, I mean, like I said, he may say 80%, knowing that it's going to be negotiation regarding that. So, all right. So it seems like we're sending him to Turkey. That's how it looks in the chat. Me personally, I'm gonna say no, only because only because it sounds crazy. Only because it could be just a tool just to negotiate. I'm gonna say that. Shout out to Don Myers in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. I don't know about cooking with Kaya or A and Ross, but I know the Falcons. You know why I went silent, right? Don, you know why I went silent, right? You know this, right? You know why I went silent. So being that we had that understanding, y'all not winning no Super Bowl, bro. You're not. Unless y'all get my quarterback, though. You know what I'm saying? Unless y'all get Patrick Mahomes, but that's not happening. You feel what I'm saying? So just be cool. You know what I'm saying? Win the division first. You know what I'm saying? Win the division first. You know what I'm saying? Do that for a little while. Then maybe, because y'all got good players. But I tell you what, if the Falcons go to the Super Bowl this year, not win, if they go to the Super Bowl this year, I will find you. You're gonna send me your email, and I'm gonna send you $1,000. I'll send you $1,000 if y'all go to the Super Bowl. He says, "See you in February, brother." The camera did not freeze. I'm just looking at you through the camera. Pause. Because it's not going to happen. Y'all not smelling no part to the Super Bowl. Unless Deion Sandcastle come out of nowhere. And y'all get him as an unsigned free agent. And a whole bunch of other stuff. So I'm more than comfortable making that deal. $1,000. If y'all just go to the Super Bowl. I'm just saying. No, it's not happening, right? All right, y'all, moving on to our next. Oh, actually, we got one more. Send him to Turkey or nah. YouTuber Jack Dunnery caught on camera holding his bodyguard's hand like I said, in public after getting robbed, after getting his chain snatched a couple weeks back. So there's a video of the YouTuber Jack Dunnery holding the hands of his bodyguard. A couple weeks back, he did get his chain snatched. Send him to Turkey or nah for just holding. I mean, he's a bodyguard. Like, why would he need to hold his hand? That's what I'm kind of like. If you just rolling with him, then that's cool. Why would you need to hold his hand like that? I don't know if they did that as a gag, but I'm only going by what I saw. That looked crazy. He was literally walking down the street holding this man's hand, and it was his bodyguard. So I don't know. I is that a new thing? Is that what people do that have bodyguards? They hold their hand to avoid getting their stuff robbed and stole. I mean, it's unfortunate that it happened to them. But if you have them with you, then again, what they do that at? I'm completely lost. I've never heard of that. So do we send him to Turkey or nah? I'm voting we send him to Turkey because that's weird behavior. I've just never seen that. So I'm sending him to Turkey. Shout out to Don Dark in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Happy Father's Day to all the hardworking fathers out there. Appreciate the love. Rashida, I'm sending the Super Bowl turkey. we need our meat to focus on what happened these days. Don Dark, that's pretty zesty. That's a fact. They do that in Nebraska. That's wild. Again, I've never heard of that. That's probably like the new thing that stars do to not get their stuff stolen. I mean, but people know who to rob and who not to. I think that's what it comes down to. And I think that's a choice. He chose to hold his hand. I don't know if that was to create content, but I'm going to send him to Turkey because that's just weird. I mean, so I meant to say men. Now, when I said it, I kind of figured that was Sheeta. I'm gonna drop a dime on. So you drop a dime on Nebraska, huh? You drop a dime on. I bet you they do that in Nebraska. You know what I'm saying? They don't like that. They don't like that at all. They don't like that. Now, instead of doing that, if Jack would have went to the Gills Nils, he could have worked it out. If he went to the Gills Nils, he wouldn't have had to hold his bodyguard hand. If he would have just went to the Gills Nils, feel me? All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment. Y'all already know what time it is. It's time to wrap. This segment is brought to you by Button Snaps. Again, where you get the finest of quality of movies, shows, documentary, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. Button hyphenated sign snaps.com. That's button hyphenated sign snaps.com. Make sure y'all go there after the show. You know what I'm saying? Let me read. I meant to say I'm gonna drop a dime. All right. First hot topic of the night, y'all. Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart revealed he wasn't going to host the BET Awards if streamer Kai Cenat couldn't stream behind the scenes. Again, let me know what y'all think in the chat about that. Again, Kevin Hart revealed he wasn't going to host the BET Awards if streamer Kai Cenat couldn't stream behind the scenes. Me personally, what I think about that, I actually love that. I mean, because we're in a time where we don't see or we hear that as a culture we don't look out for each other. As a culture we don't build each other up. As a culture, like, we worried about self and we don't worry about anybody else. So I like the fact that Kevin Hart is seeing a young man doing his own thing in his own space, but recognizing that his star power sees his star power and he could bring him up. And that with Kai Cenat, it seems like the bigger that he gets, the bigger the people around him gets. It's because it's like, yo, we could all bring each other up. So I love that aspect of it. And I don't know if Kevin Hart mainly did it in particular for that alone, or mainly understanding that as a culture, we need to build each other up. Because I know we've heard it prior to, a lot of people don't like the fact that streaming is a part of the culture, which is puzzling to me, because if we're lit at something and we melanated, then it's all a part of the culture. I mean, before it was movies, then it was music, then it was podcasting. Now it's streaming and podcasting. In the next 5 to 10 years, it's going to be something else that is going to be added to the culture. Same thing in music. At first, it was just breakdancing. Then it was, I would say first it was DJing. Then it was breakdancing. Then it was graffiti. And that's all a part of the hip hop. Now we have a different aspects of entertainment, which is podcasting, which is streaming, which is a combined of both. So in the next 5 or 10 years, there's going to be something else that we're going to have to embrace. And I just think it's in our best interest is to embrace all parts of the culture. So I like the fact that he was able to do this and use his power to not just for himself, but to bring somebody else up, somebody else who's young, who's hungry, who not just wants the position, but earned the position through his hard work, has his own motion. So I love the fact that Kevin Hart had did that and basically used his position to put somebody else in position. So I actually love that as well. Shout out to the wet guy. What a name. That's a name. If I'm going to pick a YouTube name, I'm not going to pick yours, but that one stands out. Appreciate you tapping in. Appreciate that. Shout out to Ebony. A good way to show his power. Kevin Hart is part of the Diddy ring. So, okay, I mean, hey, if he's a part of the Diddy ring, right? So now are we saying that he's going to put Kai Cenat to bring him to the Diddy party, or is that now different? Because I know people that's in the industry, And everybody in the industry is not a part of the Diddy ring. I'm not a part of the Diddy ring at all. A story y'all would hear about me faster than anything is I probably would punch somebody in their face. So that's why I'm not around certain elements of people, because I do have an aggressive side that everybody can't appreciate. That's just my personal personality, right? But I can't say that everybody that's successful is going to the Diddy party. I can't say that. I just can't say that. I know people that been in the business before me that didn't go to the Diddy party. I know people that been in the business after me that didn't go to the Diddy party. So I don't want to sum up that everybody that's successful in the industry is going to the Diddy party. I can't believe that. I have a friend who has been acting. Well, I have several friends that act, but one particular friend been acting for over 20 something years and really got his first big break on a whole nother level maybe 3 years ago. Maybe 3 years ago. So he took the road less traveled. So, I can't say that, and I'm not gonna put that on Kai Cenat. But he's saying Kevin Hart is a part of the Diddy ring. That's funny though. Rashida, I can buy into it as being authentic. I think it's all a part of Hollywood play. That also, like I said, these are valid comments, right? I'm sorry I don't feel that. Your life not just that easy. I want to come on your show. We'll love that. Like I said, I'm gonna have something on TikTok every Thursday, and I'm gonna bring people up on the TikTok. I'm gonna bring people up on the TikTok. But again, love that, love that. So again, my goal is not for y'all to always agree. I'm gonna go to sleep at night whether you agree or not, right? The whole purpose is to have this open forum. You having a different opinion, I'm having a different opinion. I think it's great because in the eyes of the culture, we're for self. When we're seeing in this particular setting, we're not. Now, whether it's authentic or not, it remains to be seen. All we can go by is what we see, right? So if Kevin Hart lends his platform to help make Kai Cenat bigger, and in the greater scheme, Kai Cenat uses his platform to make his friends, his family, and everybody that's around him bigger, then the greater good is the people that come up that didn't have. Kevin Hart is always going to have, right? But it's about the effect of the have-nots. The fact that Kevin Hart is with Kai Cenat solidifies his stardom, right? And again, it reigns to everybody that's around Kai Cenat. So I don't think Kevin Hart have the power to turn down being a host engaged for Kai, not in this cold reality. Shout out to Patrick in the building. What up, my dude? Happy Father's Day to you. Appreciate that, man. Again, I don't celebrate none of the fake holidays. Don't mean to take the air out the room. I don't celebrate none of the holidays. None. Not A1. I only believe in birthdays. I don't believe in none of the holidays. But I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that. And I'm guessing you're a dad. You continue to be a stand-up father, kicking ass as a father, holding it down as a dad. So appreciate you, Patrick, man. I don't celebrate none of the days though, cause it'll take on a different thing. You know what I mean? But yeah, Kevin Hart. So again, we're gonna agree to disagree. I think it was positive that that he did. Y'all don't think that it was because y'all don't think it's built the foundation that he's doing it on is not authentic, and it sounds good. It's what Martin say. What Tommy Davidson, Walnut Hill say to Martin is Hollywood talk. You know what I'm saying? It's Hollywood talk. You feel me? So maybe it could be Hollywood talk. It might be Hollywood talk. I would not. Again, if that's what it turned out to be, I won't argue that. It could be Hollywood talk, but on the outside looking in on that particular situation, I think it's dope because again, it trickles down to the people around Kai Cenat. Kai Cenat's already a star. He's already solidified. He's already certified. He's out of here. Now it's him bringing the other people around him and shining light on them, which he's been doing. So, all right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. McDonald's settles Byron Allen's $10 billion lawsuit over ads for the so-called black-owned media. Y'all know I hate saying the word black because that's not what we are. We're not 3/5 of a person or people. So y'all know I hate saying the word black. I hate referring us to us as black. As long as we use black, we'll never get what we need and want out of this country. You know how my bro Santana looks up the Black's Law dictionary. Words have power, and if we use certain words, we'll never get to our true power. And they gave us black. We didn't ask for black. They gave us African American. We didn't ask for that. They gave us colored. We didn't ask for that. And they keep giving us words that doesn't pertain to us. But that's a whole nother story. All right, y'all. But story is, again, McDonald's settles Byron Allen $10 billion lawsuit over ads for black-owned media. McDonald's said it will buy ads at market value from Allen's companies in a manner that aligns with the advertising strategy and commercial objectives. Settlement terms are confidential. That's whack. And McDonald's, based in Chicago, denies any wrongdoing in agreeing to the settlement. What y'all think about that? Again, me personally, this is all big business. What they say in what's my movie with Wesley Snipes? Oh man, I know the movie off the top of my head. If I wasn't on live, I would say it immediately. New Jack City. There we go. New Jack City. What do you say, New Jack City? This is bigger than Nino Brown. This is big business. I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth, Miss Hawkins. This is what this sounds like. This is all big business, right? At the end of the day, because the settlement is confidential, we don't know what ended up really happening. Now, the fact that they was able to settle it, okay, now how is it going to benefit moving forward? Like, McDonald's has money on top of money. They open 24 hours a day. So they have a system that's so crazy and so wild that they would never go out of business. McDonald's is a type of business and a type of corporation you could actually buy into. People don't realize most McDonald's that you see are personally owned by just different people. So the McDonald's corporation don't own every McDonald's. They actually give their business model to people who want to buy into McDonald's because their business model is successful. Very successful. I believe their business model, if off the top of my head, I believe is about a high 80%. That's very high. Just to buy into a McDonald's, and you basically got a license to print money. I would say the biggest thing that was shut down to McDonald's is location and the care of the location. So if you're in a busy location anywhere in the world, that McDonald's is always going to flourish, right? But if that particular McDonald's have a series of rodent issues, then they may shut that McDonald's down. Now, they could still have rodent issues and still keep it operational, but if they have a series of rodent issues that is structural based, then they have to shut it down. So I mean, McDonald's is still going to make their money. Now, Byron Allen, this was great for Byron Allen. He's able to come away with this, I'm guessing, in his favor because it is confidential. But what is this going to do to the local community, to the quote unquote so-called black community? What do it do for us? How does it help us? How does it help the black quote unquote so-called black businesses? How does that spread? So it doesn't help us that it's confidential. Like that's where I'm at with that in itself. Uh, More games. This one coming from the White House. Yep. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, when we gauge things based on big business, the people under it is where it really affects. So what that means is that you got a billionaire like Byron Allen, whether it works or not, it doesn't necessarily affect him personally. His pockets is straight forever. He will never go broke. Never. He can never go broke. He could try to spend it, but he can't. He's not going to be able to ever spend $1 billion, right? That's how set he is. But the businesses, or why it matters, because if you got big business, and the big business, if they get tricked out their spot, what do you think is going to happen to the local so-called black businesses? What do you think is going to happen? So it doesn't benefit that that their findings or that their settlement is confidential. I think it's whack. I can't front. I expect the men to look into stuff like this. Now that's at the end of the day. We won't know. We won't know, which is whack. So the fact that they settle, okay, great, but how does that help, and how does that let the rest of us know where to gauge ads for our businesses, right? So we really are on the mercy of analytics, using our analytics, whether it's social media, using analytics, whether it's like a general analytic, because anytime you do ads somewhere, especially if you do billboards, you have to do the analytics on the type of product that you're moving. How does that help your business? So that's what we really fall at, is doing analytics. And it would have helped more if we would have known what the settlement would have been, because that's let us know where we can gauge our businesses. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. In light of the success of the 1v1 Michael Beasley and Lance Stevenson, this question has came up quite a bit throughout Instagram. Do we need a one-on-one Carmelo Anthony versus Michael Beasley? Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Yeah, I mean, me personally, I'm going to say, just for basketball, I'm going to say we don't need it. I'm going to say we don't need it. Now, would it be fire? Yes, because Michael Beasley is amazing. He's amazing at what he does. Michael Beasley is one of the reasons why I say sports, NBA, NFL, professional, is not based on talent. It's based on storylines. It's based on go along, get along. It's based on, are these players going to go with the program? Because Michael Beasley is one of the most talented players, one of the most talented scorers, overall player. I just overall player that you could think of. And for him to lose out on majority of his career based on what the perceived rap that he brings to a team, with his ability and his talent, he should have been on teams still to this day. Do we need it as a culture? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. Mainly because Carmelo Anthony, I think he propelled himself differently than a Michael Beasley. So for Carmelo Anthony, he has nothing to gain from that. I think it will be a great game. I think we could kind of get a pseudo one-on-one if they worked out together, but to have like a 1v1, obviously they would have to put up more into the pot, into that bag. Would it be great for basketball? Just from basketball talent, it would be great to see. But do we need it? Do the culture need it? I'm going to say no. But if you said Carmelo Anthony versus Paul George, I'll be for that. I'll be for that. If we said, I wouldn't say. Now, if Paul Pierce was in shape, I would love to see Paul Pierce, Carmelo Anthony. I would love to see that if Paul Pierce was in shape. Um, but I don't think that's I don't think that's happening right. I don't think that would be fair to Paul Pierce. All due respect, Paul Pierce is going to be a Hall of Famer, but as of right now, Paul Pierce don't look like he's seen any types of basketball or the court or nothing. Carmelo still looks very active. So me personally, I would rather see him versus Paul George. Me personally, if I had to pick a 1v1. Now for Michael Beasley, I would like to see for the culture Michael Beasley versus that one is tough. Let's keep it Maryland. Michael Beasley versus Jeff Green. I like to see that. People been saying Joe Johnson. I don't know if I would pick Joe Johnson, even though Joe Johnson is a big guard. Michael Beasley has guard skills at like 6'8", 6'10", if I'm not mistaken. I think he's like 6'9", 6'10". So yeah, I would rather see that. If Lamar Odom was still active, I would like to see Lamar Odom get into the mix. But I would rather see Jeff Green versus Michael Beasley. I think that would be a dope 101. Me personally, that would be fire. Send them all to Turkey. It's a distraction. We need our men to pay attention to us right now. Rashida is funny. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. A Las Vegas YouTuber. I'm sorry, a Las Vegas YouTuber shot. Hello, let me see. Why is this wrong? Okay, in Las Vegas, a Las Vegas YouTuber shooting, known as Sin City, shot and killed Finney the Legend, and potentially Finney the Legend's wife on live. I seen the video. It was not pretty, obviously. Finney the Legend was on live setting up his camera. This guy known as Sin City Family came up to him. You could hear the wife say, "Don't come over here with that nonsense," or whatever. And you seen him, unalive, unalive, unalive Finney the Legend. Now you see the wife say, "Are you kidding me?" And she goes off camera. And the next thing you see is her on the floor. So he shot and killed both. And it's unfortunate. Rest in peace. My condolences to their family. He's somebody that should definitely been on the turkey list. But what do y'all think about that in the chat? I mean, that's terrible, to be honest with you. He unalived both. So he did unalive both. He did unalive both. You know what's wild to me? I just don't understand, like, that type of vitriol and that type of beef. I'm not familiar with the history of their beef. Pause. But at the end of the day, is it really that serious? Is it really that serious at the end of the day? There's nothing that no one can tell me, say to me through YouTube, through TikTok, through any social media platform, Twitch, any platform, whether they disagree with me or not, that will have me so enraged where the next time I see them, I'm going to unalive them. Because we live in a real world. And once we turn off this camera, we go back to that. Right? This is a part of our world, but at the end of the day, it's never that serious. It's just an opinion. And the beautiful thing about opinions is that everybody has one, whether they're wrong or right, because it's all opinion based. But just because it's an opinion, your opinion can be changed. There were artists, when they first came out, I said, man, they are hot garbage. But after a while, I started listening to more of their music. I'm like, yo, they're not half bad. And I listened to more of their music. They're like, yo, they're actually pretty good. That first music that I listened to, I didn't like. I thought it was terrible. But my opinion changed. So imagine if I would have just went off my first opinion and just always went in and just always felt the type of way, we get to this. So there's no way that I can have a disagreement with anybody on here, or somebody have a difference of opinion, even if they disrespect me. Because at the end of the day, in real time, in the real world, if you see me face to face, I don't have that type of energy where you're going to disrespect me or call me out my name. And we have to be careful. We have to be careful not to crash out. I felt like that was premeditated in a sense where the guy that passed away, he's not from Las Vegas. So he was doing some sort of vacation with his wife there and yada, yada, yada. It doesn't even matter. He was in Vegas to have a good time. Whether it's his anniversary, whether he just wants to get out with his wife and have a good time. Like, I mean, if you go to Vegas with your significant other, you going there to have a good time. You want to go there, you want to shop, you want to get naked, you want to eat good food, you want to do all of that, right? It's not that serious. It's not. Now this person who was caught, I believe he turned himself in. He's going to be like, this is double murder. He's going to be looking at life over a beef on the internet, whether it's through TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, it doesn't matter. Was it worth it? Was it worth it? The next 20 years of your life could have been the best 20 years ever. Y'all could have continued to use each other as content just so people could tune in. Hence, you get your money. The more people that tune in, you can get your money. So y'all could have used each other to build each other's content, even though it's in a negative space, but y'all could have did it more so in a sporting sense, more in a rivalry sense, where y'all could have benefited. Now, you got 3 people's lives changed. Well, not just 3, but their families as well. And it's all for what? So to me, it was not that serious. I just don't get it. I don't get it. There's nothing that nobody could tell me on this internet that would have me in my real life crashing out. Not gonna happen. Now, I would protect myself. I will defend myself. But I'm not going to have a disagreement with somebody and say, you know what, when I see them in person, I'm going to slap the fire out you. Now, I'm not saying I don't do that. I'm saying I won't do that through YouTube. You see what I'm saying? This is different. You know what I'm saying? Feel me? So, or I won't do that through social media. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have some straight talk, lead to some straight understanding, okay? But y'all get the point that I'm making. It's just never that serious to have that type of exchange, to have that type of history to end like this. The way it looked to me, the one who killed him felt like he owned LA and the one who killed wasn't supposed to be there. That part. Yeah, and that's another problem. We all feel like we own something. You don't own LA. You don't own Vegas. You don't own New York. There's no kings to none of this, y'all. Like y'all know that I'm an artist, right? I'm a rap artist, and I hear all the time, especially from my city, from New York City. I'm the king of New York. I'm the king of LA. I'm the king of Chicago. Nobody ain't no kings out here, bro. No. It's just your turn to be a little relevant. It's just your turn. It's called trends. You're the new trend. Trends come and go. It's that simple. You're not the first. We see movies all the time, whether they're from the 60s and 70s. Guess what? We live in 2025. At some point in the history of this world, 2025 is going to be considered old. When they're in 2075, somebody's going to be like, yo, you remember back in 2025? 2020, you know how old that is, bro? 2025. There's going to be a time 2025 is going to be old. Just like in the 1960s. In the 1960s, you had trends. And it's still the same, still to this day. It's a trend. It comes and it goes. Be cool. There's no way you could be king of anything. You could be the architect of something. You could create something. But you can't be the king of something because it's not just for you. Hip hop is not just for one person. Your music is not just for one person. Why do you think when people die who are music artists that people actually cry? Because they feel connected through the music, through that person's artistry, through that trend that comes and goes. So I don't know why people think that they own something, that they, oh, I'm the king of this. No, the F you not, bro. No, you not, bro. You don't have to die for you to be forgotten. There's people who were super duper celebrities that a lot of the kids today don't know. They walk down the street, they wouldn't know them. They wouldn't know them. But they were super popping in their time. It's a trend. You're not the king. Be cool, make your money, make history, and be cool. That king is so ridiculous. Not the king of anything. That's wild. But I definitely get I definitely get that. Shout out to Caden in the building. He just tapped in. What Caden talking about? Take off. Come on, Caden. Come on, Caden. Appreciate you tapping in, man. Hit them likes, hit them subscribe, but don't be weird, man. Come on, man. Come on. This not the place for that. The immaturity of some of these grown men education level got to get up there. And it's crazy that both men look like that they was in their 30s, maybe 40s. I don't know for sure. No, they definitely look like they was in their 40s or 50s. I will tell you this. Crash out behavior is not exclusive to education. Let me say that. When I was in college, there was a whole lot of fights going on in college. And the reason why I say that is because crashing out and not knowing what to live for is not an educational thing. It's a life thing. People have to go through life to understand what to live for, right? We have this new term of big bro, unk, big homie. Well, big homie, these terms have been around, but now they, people have really put ages on and stuff, right? And the whole purpose is to become OG, is to get older, is to learn to live life, but sharing knowledge. And only through then, by living through stuff and going through real struggles, will you learn. So education could also be shield, where people be like, well, I'm educated, so I know better. Nah, we see people every day crash out, whether they have their degrees or not. But I get the point that you're making. It's more so the fact that people have to learn what to live for. If you're going to crash out for something that's real. Don't crash out because somebody's in your neighborhood and you don't know them. Don't crash out because Somebody stepped on your sneaker at the local club, right? If you're going to crash out for something real. You have people in your neighborhood being taken advantage of the local policing. Then y'all need to organize and go to the board of that policing area and get some changes made. That's how you use your crash out as power and know that, yo, I'm willing to crash out for my community. And not only go to that local board, go to the people who runs the local policing along with that local board. That's what I'm saying. We have to learn what to live for. So it's not necessarily educational based. It's more so learning how to move. So a lot of us is in a position where we living for today. But people underestimate what we eat and what we watch. So for example, if you eat meat, right? Pause. Right? Pause. And certain meats that we eat, if they were scared before they died, if they realized that they was going to die, you become what you eat. We are what we eat. So that scarcity is built up inside you. When we're on social media, there is a jail culture on social media. Y'all may not see it, but this is jail culture. This is one example. If you show an area in Brooklyn, right? And the kids from Brooklyn say, yo, if you come to this part of Brooklyn after 8, it's lights out. We're going to rob you. We're going to kill you. We're going to knock you off. Then you have people in Chicago that will see that area in Brooklyn and say, if you come to this part of Chicago, you're going to get that same treatment. And it's not going to a Brooklyn. They're just saying for their particular part. They not saying anybody in particular. They just saying this. So now you got Brooklyn saying it, Chicago saying it, California saying it, Atlanta saying it. That becomes jail culture. Now we have to prove to each other who's rough and tough instead of saying, yo, if you come to Chicago, I'm gonna show you who to talk to and we could get a business. We could combine resources and we could do this for the community. So that way, if you come to Chicago, we could do this in Chicago, and whatever you from, we could take what we learned in Chicago and bring it over to New York or bring it over to Tennessee, wherever the case may be, and we can have a real network and connection of what we're trying to do. So that right there is the difference of what we're talking about as far as the jail culture. That's a part of jail culture. So we embrace jail culture faster than anything. So we have to be very aware of what we put out there. So this is very unfortunate. And again, my condolences to both of their families. I mean, you lose 2 people and then another person goes to jail. He's probably going to go to jail for life and their families is going to be affected. And that doesn't help anyone. So, all right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. Chris Webber responds. NBA great Chris Webber responds to the story that was out there, or that's out there, that he got or had a baby with ex-teammate wife, Doug Christie, his wife, Jackie Christie. The story's out there where he had a daughter with her. The daughter was raised and known to the rest of the world as a Christie. And they're just finding out that he's actually the biological dad, and that Doug Christie is suing wife and Chris Webber for, lots of money. So in his response, he says that he never really addressed it. All he really said, in the lack of better words, is basically that the story isn't true, and anybody that runs a story is going to be in big trouble. So you have time to erase it and take it down. Bro, you didn't address it. People would take it down if you just come out and say, yo, I've never had no interaction with this woman. She's my teammate's wife. My teammate, I love and I cherish our friendship because we bled, sweat, and had tears. We We played side by side as teammates for years and years and years. And based on our brotherhood, I would never do that. But he did not say that. Nothing was definitive in what he said. Instead, he also promoted a book. So the scarcity tactic is not going to work, Chris Webber. And I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I got the Chris Webber Michigan jersey on the way. The gold version at that. I'm a fan. In the basketball sense. Pause. I'm a fan of the basketball sense. Great player. But he did not put a definitive yes and no on this story. So people are going to continue to run it until you address it. Chris Webber, address it. Why not address it? Why not come out and say what I just said? Why not? If it's not true, because, for example, my co-host, Santana, I've known this man since 2004. I met this brother in college. This is one of my teammates from college. Since we met, we was brothers. I could never imagine. It wouldn't even happen. Not even imagine in this world or the next, me sleeping with a woman that is his wife, is his girlfriend, is his sneaky link, is his one night stand. I can never see that ever happening. I can never see that. If I know that's his piece, if I know that's his sneaky link, if I know that's somebody he met and just slid in, she's cis. She's forever off limits. I don't care if you mix her up with Megan Good, cooking with Kaya, who else is fine? All the fine, Kelly Rowland, Beyonce. If you mix them all in one, and a woman 10 times better than that, that's a fine woman right there. Ooh-wee. She wouldn't be able to walk around me, but that's another story, okay? I would not touch her is the point that I'm making. Would not happen. So if that story was out there about me, I'm going to address it. I'm not going to find a way to capitalize on this moment by trying to sell a book that is going to sell anyway because of who I am and what I accomplish. I don't need this type of scandal to sell a book, because overall my reputation is going to be ruined. So I'm willing to put I can't get the word out right this second. I'm tongue-tied. But I'm willing to put my reputation at risk for monetary gain? No, sir, Bob. My reputation and being a solid individual is going to sell my book. Not only I have an interest in life. So I don't understand why he just won't come out and address it instead of making these empty threats, even if the threats are real, even if he does have lawyers on retainer to attack people and to send them scared letters like, yeah, take it down or we're going to sue. You're not addressing the problem at hand, bro. If the story's out, then put the story down. But no, you want to use the moment to sell your book. That's not smart, bro. That's not smart. In the eyes of the world, how we look at Chris Webber is in great standing. He's a great basketball player. Every time we've seen him, he's always been a great guy. He's always been very knowledgeable about the culture. He's always been in depth with the culture. He's always done stuff for people that was less fortunate than him. That is his a part of his reputation. So why let this part of your reputation linger? You're putting it at risk. So address it. I just don't understand that. Yeah, they saying who? Yeah, Chris Webber, I don't think most people realize he's a part of the reason why college athletes get paid the way they get paid. He's a part of the reason why. My favorite school in the world, which is Michigan University, at one point in time in the early 90s, if not 89 or 90, they signed 5 freshmen to their team. These 5 freshmen were all dynamic. They were all great players. So now in 2025, it's normalized that you could get 5 freshmen that come out of high school that will start immediately for your basketball team. They was the first to do that. And at that time, that was unheard of. Because originally only 3 of them started, and then 2 came off the bench. Then 1 came off the bench, then the other came off the bench. And when they all played together, it was one of the most exciting things about basketball, but not just the basketball aspect, the cultural effect that it had on basketball. Seeing melanated kids have that effect on the sport, where they also drive merchandise, where Michigan merchandise became top sellers. So his contribution to sports and the business of sports is monumental. So again, Chris Webber, why have this out and why not just nip it in the bud? Just crazy. They may want to take him down. They may want to, but again, like I said at the beginning of the show, we have the power to design our life. I'm not a big believer in coulda, woulda, bees, or I'm not a big believer in that, right? I believe we make things happen. I believe we create our own energy. I believe that the things that we put out is the things that we're going to receive. If we put out positivity, we're going to receive positivity. If we put out real, then we're going to more likely get back real. There's going to be some unreal in that, but the foundation of that is going to be real that we get coming back. Whether or not is it popular or not is a whole nother segment in itself. But again, why have that story out there? All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. The impact of Caitlin Clark is real, y'all. It's very real. So they showed it. The impact of Caitlin Clark, the cheapest Indiana Fever ticket before she got to the team was $3. Now, the cheapest ticket that you can get, being that she's on the Indiana Fever, is $41. That in itself is huge. Caitlin Clark is the face of the WNBA. She's not the best player in the league, though. She's the face. I would say A'ja Wilson is the best player in the WNBA. But she doesn't affect the business of the WNBA the way Caitlin Clark does. That is just a fact. A'ja Wilson could lead her team to the next 2 WNBA finals, the next 2 MVPs. And mind you, she got quite a few MVPs already. I believe she got 3. It's not going to change the trajectory of who people are drawn to see. Same thing with music and in movies, right? Some of the best actors in the world it's not the biggest draw, right? We all say Denzel is the best actor in the world. Not all of us, but most people would say Denzel, Will Smith. We're going to say that, right? Jeffrey Wright, these type of actors, right? But they're not the biggest draw, right? Same thing in music. Y'all don't actually believe that the biggest artists in the world in music are the biggest artists in the world of music because they're the best. We don't think that, do we? Of course not, right? Whether it's singing, whether it's rapping, it doesn't work that way, right? So in sports, it's kind of the same way. I mean, I think we've been spoiled with Michael Jordan where he was the best and he was the biggest draw, right? LeBron James was the best, biggest draw. Kobe Bryant was the best, wasn't the biggest draw, but he was the best in his time. Kobe Bryant was the best player in the league for about, I would say, 8 years, right? But Shaq was probably a bigger draw than Kobe Bryant, right? WNBA, Caitlin Clark is the biggest draw, hands down. She's the biggest draw, hands down. People just want to see her play based on her style of basketball, and her brand is basketball. So people want to see her play. So this is a very real thing. So they need to continue to highlight her games if they want the WNBA to succeed. Because what did I say early in the show? Big business affects smaller business. So if Caitlin Clark is the draw, then that will put her games on platforms with great talent. And what that means, if everybody wants to see Caitlin Clark and she's playing against great talent, then the world will get a chance to see great talent with the draw. So it helps build the lead. So the WNBA can't fight on the draw. Just like at the one point, the NBA, they realized their draw was Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. Come to find out, they was the best of friends off the field, off the court after a while. But the NBA used Boston Celtics, was normally is a white base, Boston, and used LA, California, the Bros, the Lakers as a base to have rivalries to grow their lead. Hence comes, Michael Jordan, who took the lead from one level to stratosphere. So this is your Larry Bird. You have to create your Magic Johnson. Even though Asia is the best player, it's the draw. It's the draw. People pick who's the face of the league, not the players. The players don't pick that. They can't pick that. The people pick who's the draw of the league. Kyrie Irving is a player I will spend top dollar to see play in person, which I did. I was there when he played Orlando, when he was on Brooklyn, and he scored 60. I got that on my camera. I got facts on that. And he's the type of player I will spend my money to go see because he's that sensational. Is he the best player in the league overall? No. But he's one of the best talents we've ever seen in the NBA, hands down. If we talk about basketball, I'm not gonna argue with you that Kyrie is one of the best, hands down, talents we ever seen. But is he the face of the league? No. No, he's not. So the WNBA have to realize and use Caitlin Clark to propel their lead for the overall base and wellness of their lead if they wanted to be successful in finances, in the draw. So let me check out some of this chat because y'all going crazy in the chat. Y'all buzzing. Shout out to Leaf. That's my cousin. Shout out to Leaf. Some love in the chat, y'all. That's my cousin in the building. This is what I mean. If she's blackface, bring all the monetary gains. This means this money never comes back home to build home. Not necessarily, Washida. I'm gonna break that down in a second. That picture of your pops in the back got me thinking about thinking back. Much love, family. Oh yeah, Mom Dukes and Pop Dukes behind me. Yes, that's crazy. Blackface getting paid, but the community where blackface come from not growing. Look, Hollywood or White House. Send them all to Turkey. Let me pick. All right, so here's what it is, right? We can't say it's a colorism thing. It's not an end all be all colorism thing when it comes to the WNBA and Caitlin Clark, right? Again, it's draw, right? So, for example, Caitlin Clark is a draw, right? I'm just going to use her name because she is a draw, but she's not quite the draw. Even though Asia Wilson is the best player in the league, she's not quite the draw, right? A person who can be or could have been a draw, and that's what they was trying to do, but it's failing epically, is Angel Reese, right? Beautiful sister, tall, right? That plays basketball. We seen her beat Caitlin Clark in college, where the team beat Caitlin Clark's team in college, right? The WNBA was trying to use that, right? But Angel Reese can't compete with Caitlin Clark in basketball only because Angel Reese needs to work on her offensive game. She's a good rebounder, good defender, beautiful, but her brand is not basketball only, right? We see her in a multitude of platforms. But none of these things will be a conversation if Angel Reese's offensive game was like that. If her offensive game was like that, then the WNBA easily could have used Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark to build the lead. So that's why I can't say it's a race thing. Is that Angel Reese just don't have the offensive prowess to carry that. Like, let's be real, it's basketball. People like to see people score. Caitlin Clark, step back three-pointer. Come back down off the pick and roll, step back three-pointer. Shake and bake, pass. Shake and bake again, pass. Shake and bake, step back three-pointer. That's her game. It's exciting to watch. Angel Reese getting rebounds, miss putbacks, pick and roll. She's missing three-point shots. If her offensive game was more efficient and it looked better, it didn't look elementary, then the league will find itself in a great standing because Angel Reese has the look, she has the presence, but her offensive game doesn't match. That's not a diss to her. That's based on what I'm seeing. So again, if that was the case, this conversation, it would be completely different because now they have two players that they could build the lead on, and it's not race-based. So I think Caitlin Clark is getting the love because of her skill. Race plays a component because of her skill, because we don't see so many girls who look like her that have that type of skill. But there's quite a few girls that look like her that has that type of skill and has the tradition in the league that has her type of skill. Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird. I mean, I could go on and on, right? But at the end of the day, what's going to take for the league to survive is that women, y'all ladies, y'all got to support the league. Y'all know who the biggest contributors and the biggest supporters of the WNBA? Men. It's more women than men in the world. When I go to Orlando Magic game, there's a whole lot of women in there. So why y'all not going to the WNBA games? So the ladies, y'all got to support, show up, and show out more than any and everybody else. I'm just saying. So that's what it's going to take for that league to survive. But the fact that the cheapest ticket used to be $3 and now it's $41, it's a step in the right direction. And you have to use Caitlin Clark to let the league elevate, so that way people under her who has more talent or just as good of talent could be on display, so that way they can make their money as well. That's how that works. So what she's good at? Oh, you talking about Angel Reese? I said it. I said what she's good at. I said she's good at rebounding, and I know people out there gonna be crack jokes talking about me bounds. It's still a rebound, y'all. Right? She's good at rebounding, and she's good at defense. She's a good shot blocker. She has good feet. She can steal the ball. She plays off pick and rolls fairly well. She could get better at defending the pick and roll a little bit better. But it's her offensive game. She's not good at anything offensively. At anything. She's not great at, outside of offensively, rebounding the ball, but she's not great at layups. Her layups look elementary. She doesn't have moves. She doesn't have the crawl. She doesn't have a good spin. She doesn't have a step back. She doesn't have a reliable spot up shot. It looks bad. It really looks bad. So if she was to be more efficient on the offensive side and had like a little bag, oh, Angel Reese will be through the roof. She'll be through the roof. Nah, I'm confused by those numbers. The game is fixed. Pay attention, man. You think the game is fixed? Yeah, you're not going to get men to agree with that because sports. When we talk about sports, most men we go by what we see, and what that means is whatever talent is on the court or on the field, and whoever's the best of that talent is just the best. That's how we think. Yeah, there's no secret. Now is it the best talent that we've ever seen on the court? No, there's talent all over the world. So again, if our offensive game was better, she'll be held in higher regard. All right, so moving on to our next hot topic. Memphis Grizzlies have traded star forward Desmond Bane to Orlando Magics, okay, for Cole Anthony, Contavious Caldwell Pope, and 4 first-round picks. Wow, that's a lot. 4 first-round picks. Uh, Desmond Bane is a great player, great three-point shooter, good defender. I think he would do work with the Magics. I think the Magics is missing a point guard. But to give up four first-round picks, whoa. I wouldn't have did that deal, especially if I'm already giving up Cole Anthony, Contavious Caldwell Pope. I would have done 1 first-round pick with that group. I mean, that's just me personally, but hey, I'm not in the front office. Desmond Bane is going to be a great player. When you give away 4 first-round picks, you're saying that this player is your best player. I think Desmond Bane is a great player, but he's not going to be the Orlando Magic's best player. Ben Carroll is their best player. So I think he will help, and I think if the Magic is able to get a point guard in the summertime, they going to be some serious work moving forward. That's the way it's set up. I mean, okay, they picked her like that. Okay. So yeah, so I think this is a good trade for Orlando. Memphis, Cole Anthony is great off the bench. I think he's going to benefit by coming off the bench, playing behind a guy like my goodness, his name is, I don't want to say the tip of my tongue because that sounds crazy. He's gonna do good coming off the bench for John Morant. I don't know why his name was escaping me. He's gonna do good. So, and then Contavious Caldwell Pope. He's always been a great role player, but I think Memphis really benefited from this trade by getting 4 first rounds. So, all right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. And our last hot topic. We covered it last episode, but we wasn't in depth with it. R. Kelly says that the Aryan Brotherhood was hired to kill him in prison, and pleads for President Trump and the help of others to have him do an at-home sentence or release him altogether to receive some sort of clemency. Like last episode, he gonna try it, but at the end of the day, he still has to do his time. You know, I'm one of big R. Kelly's biggest fans. Pause. His music is gonna live on forever. Do I think it was fair? No, I don't, because the statute of limitations in each state is different. Do I have his same proclivities of women? No. All my women, have to be of a certain age. This is me personally. I like my women not with a whole lot of miles, but y'all get what I'm saying. I don't want them fresh out the box neither. Trust, don't do that to yourself. I don't want her to, be on 100,000 miles. You know what I'm saying? It would be nice. It would be nice that she got test drove a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to be the third owner on that thing. You know what I'm saying? If y'all get what I'm saying in car sense. You know what I'm saying? I don't want 100,000 on that thing. I don't want 50,000 on that thing. I don't want 30,000 on that thing. I want like damn near brand new. You know what I'm saying? That least mileage. You know what I'm saying? Them least mileage. You know what I'm saying? Or if I'm gonna get it used, you see what I'm saying? It was like after lease. You know what I'm saying? Like 11,000. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of but y'all get what I'm saying, right? So for me, he was convicted of this crime. 30 years was egregious to me off the bat, just off the bat. I know what they put out there for the public opinion. Mind you, he didn't do this by himself. All the people that spoke on his case and on the things that he did, they was a part of it. And they was on payroll at the time. But then they wasn't on payroll, so now they selling the book. Like, yeah, I got this book talking about the time that I assist R. Kelly on sleeping with this girl that in this particular state, she was under the limitations. In this state, 16 is the limitation, but he was messing with a 15-year-old girl in this state. But I helped him know. You feel what I'm saying? And if you buy my book, I'm going to tell you all about it. And he was wrong for that. He was wrong for that. I know I helped him, but he was wrong for that. So a lot of these people have that story regarding R. Kelly. So that's why I say the years is egregious, but he does deserve to do some sort of time. At home sentence, I don't know. Why he can't just be moved to another prison? Like, I don't understand how we get from, yo, they trying to kill me, yo, send me home. I do my sentence from the crib. Nah, bro, we not gonna do 30. We do like 15 or 10 or 15 or 8 or something like that. And you gonna go to another prison where we can, protect you. Like, how we compromise from prison to the crib? That's like, yo, I can't pay this bill, but if y'all let me rock, I'm still not gonna pay the bill. See what I'm saying? But y'all should just look out. You know what I'm saying? I pay it when I can pay it. I get y'all when I get y'all. It don't work that way. You got to take care of it. So at the end of the day, I think he should be moved to a facility where they could protect them better. But I'm on record saying that the sentence is too long anyway. So, all right, y'all, moving on to our next segment. Keep the Lie Alive segment. So y'all already know how I do in this segment. Let me go back real quick. Yeah, we get it. 30 years. Yeah, that's crazy work. Yeah, 30 years is a long time. That's a long time. Especially for a lot of information, and they use these people as testimony. Like, how you gonna use somebody that was doing a crime with me against me? Like, that's wild. I mean, you get what I'm saying? They do it all the time, but like, based on that, it's like, yo, he helped me do it. That's like robbing the bank, and the dude, he bust the window open. He was looking out while I went in there and took the money. So now we in court. Yeah, it's just crazy. All right, y'all. So again, I keep the lie alive segment. So my keep the lie alive for this episode is: don't be your own grave digger. Don't be your own grave digger, people. I say that because, again, social media. and people that I know in person. There's a lot of people out here that's making moves that's not in their benefit. We spoke about it earlier during the show about people crashing out way before they supposed to, and they crashing out for things that is no need to crash out. You're going to lose your life on. So you're basically digging your own grave. We spoke about the YouTube guy who took his beef off of YouTube and took it into the real life, where he took and alive 2 people, and now he's going to go to jail for life. We spoke about that. And we see it all the time. Don't be your own grave digger. Learn how to live life. That's why I spoke on the book that I spoke on about learning how to live life. Wellness, mental wellness. Not just being mentally right, physically right, spiritually right. All this matters. What we ingest matters. What we watch matters. I remember in my early 20s, I was always watching Love and Hip Hop. Always. And my world around me was resembling to Love and Hip Hop. How I handle situations, or the situations I would go through. It was like, and then when I started watching Love and Hip Hop, and it's just not Love and Hip Hop in itself, but just the things that I watch, my mentality, the first place I would go to. So we have to be careful what we ingest, not just from a meal standpoint, but what we watch and what we read and what we see. So don't be your own grave digger. And most people nail in their own coffin and don't even realize they're nailing in their own coffin. Learn how to play your part. Learn how to be cool. We talked about people that wanted to be king. Everybody wants to be the king of this and want to be the king of that. Ain't no way. You're digging your own grave. Because when you're the king, there's not one king in history that wasn't dethroned. So at the end of the day, you're not making history by calling yourself king, by being king. The mentality of king, we think, is like prestige and posture and respect, but it also is the head of the same coin. The same one you use, heavy as the crown, right? So the same head you use, on one side is love, and on the other side is hate. So don't be your own gravedigger. Be careful of the moves that you make. We see it every single day where people continuously just do things that's not in their best interest. Let me look at this chat real quick. Now that's deeper. That's why now I only want to be around those like me. Facts. Shout out to Paul in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. I think that's T. She normally known as T. Shout out to Paul. Good night. Just arrived. I understand that. Yeah, I mean, I remember my mom used to say this. Well, more so my dad. And y'all see my father and my mother in the back, right? More so my dad. My dad says, he used to say, the friends that you choose is a reflection of who you are. And some of your friends, you're not always going to have the same relationships throughout time. So, like within my father's friendships, it was people that was always around at one point in time, and then after a while, like 10 years went by, I'm like, Dad, like, why such and such not around you no more? He was like, I don't know. I haven't spoken to him in a long time. He never calls me. I'm like, he never calls you, but you never call him neither. So, but when you get to a certain age and you realize, like, yo, sometimes people outgrow each other, and more so not just outgrowing, people align themselves with people that's more like-minded, right? And if you surround yourself with people who are like-minded, it could be a benefit. It can be a benefit, not always. It could also hinder you if everybody around you think the same way. If not one person have a different thought, then you're in a situation that's not like-minded. Being like-minded is not always agreeing. Being like-minded has a way of challenging your views. I have plenty of discussions with my friends where they have a difference of opinion, and I could say something that could change their whole view, and vice versa. So we have to be careful on aligning ourselves with just people that think this way, because we won't see the full picture in things, which also is another factor of digging our own graves. For example, another example, I should say, my mom, we used to have discussions about food, right? And as I got older, I'll tell my mom, like, Mom, I don't eat that no more. She'd be like, what? You don't eat what? I just made a whole truck of this stuff. You gonna eat this. Pause. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Food. Like, no, I'm not eating that, Mom. I don't eat this particular food anymore. I love you. Thank you for thinking about me, but you should have asked me. I should have asked you. Yeah, because I don't eat that no more. Why you don't eat it no more? Why? Why? It has bad nutritional value, Mom. Who told you that? It says it in this book right here, Mom. It says it right here. And not just this book. There's several books that says the same thing. I've been eating this for just 50-some years, and these are, cuisines handed down from my great-great-grandmother. So you trying to say I'm trying to kill you? No, Mom, you're not trying to kill me, Mom. But you not understanding that these things that you was taught doesn't mean it was good. Is good for me, right? Not having the ability to grow is the point that I'm making, right? So if we hinder ourselves by thinking that what we think is end all be all, then it's a hindrance, especially if we don't do the research. And then once you do the research, you're like, oh snap, I didn't even know that. So there's a lot of things that we was taught down just through word of mouth, and we just took it for face value and not doing the research. It was like, yo, when I took a nutrition class in college, and they listed all the foods that was bad for you, and I'm like, yeah, I eat 95% of this food that's on this board. Teacher, professor, can you show me this information where you got this from? Because I got other years of other stuff going on that differentiates from what you're telling me, sir. And he gave me all the knowledge. And then what I did, because this is the type of person I am, outside of his books, I went and did my own research. And he was right, that some of these foods that I was eating at the time was terrible for me. French fries, for those who don't know, French fries is terrible for you. Bacon is terrible for you. The 5 food groups that we're supposed to have for breakfast is not the leading base on what we're supposed to have in our day. I'm going to play in a future episode, again, that I found where these companies who made what is considered now breakfast food had deals with companies to tell the public that a part of having a balanced meal is to have cereal, pancakes, eggs, milk, orange juice, when it was all bullshit. And they paid these companies to do that. So now when the company come on TV, black and white television, yeah, you want to have a balanced meal, you want to be big and strong, go to your local store and get you some eggs. Have your eggs with some cereal. Don't forget the apple juice. Don't forget the orange juice. Have all that in one meal. Don't worry, we're going to send you the milk. We're going to have the milkman come through. He's going to have some milk for you for that. You're going to have all that. You had all that for that meal. They was only trying to sell products. Don't dig your own grave. So that's my Keep the Lie Alive for this episode. I want to thank y'all for tapping in, rocking with me. Y'all been amazing as always, each and every episode, 168th episode. Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast? We're on every Sunday and every Thursday at 10:30. Thank y'all for tapping in. Y'all been engaging in this chat all night long. Couldn't have did it without y'all. Y'all been amazing. Continue to help me grow the show. Continue to tell a friend, to tell another friend, to tap in every Sunday, every Thursday. We talk about everything over here, whether it's culture, whether it's entertainment, whether it's politics. We talk about everything, whether if we just have questions. This is a place where we congregate and get our good talk, and everybody is welcome. Also, I want to thank some of the sponsors of the show. Bravo section, Button Snaps, OUV Records. If you're interested in becoming one of the sponsors of the show, you can hit me on my Instagram at Ashley Lovechild. So again, but you got to be serious about it though, because if you're not, playing with my time, I could be disrespectful. And I love y'all. Don't let me do that. All right. Also, I want to thank the presenting sponsor of this podcast, Button Snaps. Again, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's button hyphenated sign snaps.com. That's button hyphenated sign snaps.com. Also, we on the road to 20,000 subs. We a little over 11,000 subs. So again, continues to help us grow the show. Like, subscribe, share, hit them 100s. We have over 450 rewatchable videos of this podcast on this channel. So make sure y'all tap in, leave them comments, and share. And share. Got a whole bunch of short videos as well. A whole bunch of popular opinion questions in the post as well. Also, again, I want to thank y'all for supporting my brand new EP. Continue to support it. It's out on every music platform right now. It's called Winners Loyalty. 6 songs of fire. So make sure y'all tap in and continue to support it. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart, for real. I want to thank y'all for doing that. Quick shout out to my co-host Santana and our guest co-host Jokey from Jokey Entertainment. I want to thank them as well. They're associated with the show. So shout out to those brothers. And again, if you don't know, it's first time watching, I am Ashley Lovechild, and I want to thank y'all for tapping in. Also, I'm going to give y'all some news. I'm going to be doing something exclusive on TikTok every Tuesday coming up, and on Twitch every Friday. So I'm going to be on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch, and Instagram, of course. So make sure y'all tap in. So y'all already know, man, it's nothing but love. I don't want to go, but I will see y'all soon this Thursday. And I might just pop up throughout the week just in the live. I just might pop up, just talk about any random thing on a Monday, tomorrow, or on a Wednesday. Who knows when I might pop up. So again, I want to thank y'all. It's nothing but love. Y'all already know, man. It's love. We out of here, and I'll see y'all next time. Have a good night. Peace.